So guys, so this is my VOD review for We Love Cats versus Revitalize.
There.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
peeked, and the CT guy got me.
Fair enough.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry,
because you could
I
have, if
started
you would have
recording.
stayed, you would have got CT. And Seb was fucking dead anyway, so it didn't matter.
You just started recording?
Yeah, I just started recording now. Sorry.
Okay.
No, that's probably
Missed that
good. That was
terrible round.
Yeah,
I don't need advice. I know what went wrong. That was a fucking
Uh,
disaster. I'm just gonna run heaven. I'm probably gonna die.
Yep. Push. Let's go site.
yeah. Oh my god!
Wow.
Dead.
Uh,
I'm not dead.
good job.
I have the spike.
He's elbow.
That was fucking.
Yeah. Oh my god!
Wow.
Spike down A.
Dead. I'm not dead.
Good job.
Did we not have a Reyna blind? I'm confused on how Killjoy was really able to get that cross.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Oh, okay. I know it's a save round, but if we have the utility, we definitely want to try to use it. I don't know if you did have it, but just make sure we try to use it. The only problem I really have with this is that your jet went heaven alone. I think we really try to play buddy system, right? So the biggest things is going to try to the biggest thing about this game is just making sure every fight you take is the most advantageous possible. And so, yeah, so the problem I really see here is just that Jet dashes up heaven alone, and then I'm not sure if she ever actually engages with anybody.
Let's go site.
Yeah, so the only issue really, Jet, I just think you need to try to pull one, I think, with you. Or if you have no engagement, actually, honestly, scratch that. Honestly, what you did was fine. You dashed heaven, and there just happened to not be anybody there. Yeah, the only thing here I'd say is that the moment you peek out main, right, and you don't see anything. So the moment you get to, let's see, right about here. So right where your Reyna's at, right, we see nothing here. I think at this point, I think it's safe for Reyna to pull your blind out and to trust your Brim and your Sage to be able to make that entry. Yeah, the problem I just see really, Reyna, is that you kind of decide to go ramps, but then you decide to go main. And then because of this, it's like you have your Brim and your Sage trying to entry. And then Sova, I'm not sure what you're doing still back here. You know, the rest of your team seems like pretty far up. Like your Jet's all the way almost into heaven, and then your team is entering. I don't necessarily have a problem. It's just that you do follow up a little bit late, right? But yeah, I think one thing we can take from this is that like one plays heaven, one plays sight, and they kind of hold a cross together. I think you can definitely put a blind out, right, which would blind your Brim and it would blind the Killjoy from being able to hold that cross. And then the only other critique I have really is the smoke. The problem with this smoke is that it allows them to go from CT into elbow without you knowing about it. So the problem with the smoke is that it's not scary for the other team, right? Like the other team isn't scared of the smoke because this smoke allows them to leave screens and go into elbow, which is probably where your Killjoy was. The Killjoy probably was screens, and then your Killjoy wrapped into elbow and then, held across with that Brim. So just moving forward, we just want to make sure we use our blinds. And then with our smokes, I think we just try to keep it into screens. That way, they feel threatened to pop out, like they're too scared to pop out. But yeah, the problem with that smoke is that it does allow them to get into elbow and kind of hit you with the cross. And then, so the only issue I really have with this position here, after your teammates die, the problem is you're not there to make that trade on that Killjoy, because the Killjoy was shooting at the Reyna, who was kind of stuck in hell. You're not there to make that trade on that Killjoy, and then you back out into main, and then you go into the smoke. And the problem here is that now that you've lost vision, the opposing team could basically be anywhere. Like, you know, there's still 4 people up. So one of them here in ropes. The problem is that Killjoy being here, the moment you let go of this vision, the Killjoy could, you know, wrap around unexpectedly into hell. The other guys from CT, you know, out of screens. And so that's just something to kind of keep in mind, is that when you let go of vision, kind of without a purpose, is that the opposing team can time you on that and take advantage of it.
See the elbow. I'll be on site now.
Yo. See if we can catch someone sewers.
He's flanking CT. Or spawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our
Let's go
spawn,
get.
yeah.
Let's go get him. Let's go get him.
Go after. Already A side.
Fuck. 90-6. Nice.
It's a good trade there.
You ready for him?
I think they're both A side. Oh, right there, right there.
30 seconds left.
Yo, wait there. Try and right click.
Oh yeah, he's reloading there.
That's super risky. You jump out before you even know he's there. Oh my god, he loses that? Oh, so terrible.
Guns.
He's gonna be
Now
on
I have to
site.
fucking plant this bitch ass motherfucking killjoy. Oh.
Yeah, no complaints there. I just think that there was a point on A where you guys were kind of in shambles early, and like we were in shambles so early that we should have had way more than enough time to reposition and, you know, either take over A or leave it. But we ran out of time, and I really just think that we took too long here on A. Like the moment you guys were getting shit on, like right here. So I feel like if you were closer up, you could have either gotten the trade or grabbed the spike and bailed, right? And then you guys could have made your way into sewers sooner, probably before. Actually, no, that Sky probably made her way behind that box early. And so you guys would have been able to get that engagement on that Sky a little bit earlier. The Rays probably wouldn't be there by then if you guys had left earlier, because she would still probably be around here or maybe even here at that point. And if we were just a little bit quicker to getting out A main together, then the Killjoy wouldn't have been there by that time. The Killjoy, the Killjoy was probably playing sight, maybe elbow, and so I feel like it just would have been a little bit quicker if we were able to make a decision on where to go sooner. But overall, it was a good try. It was a save round for you guys.
Okay.
Here, you know what? The duelists split up, and then Danny fucking arrow sight. One guy go mid, and we'll see if it works.
Sage, one problem I have with your positioning is I feel like you might be a little bit baity, a little bit late. Like your jet's out, right? Your jet's out, and the rest of the team like aren't really ready. You know.
That was ugly. Thank you.
But yeah, like your jet is so far forward, but you kind of take steps back.
She's in the back there somewhere.
Yeah, so there's times where like you make great peaks actually. Like you make great peaks, and you know your aim's great.
Oh no, she's behind the box.
Oh my god.
But one problem I see is I feel like you're staring at your teammates. Either staring at your teammates or you're staring at your minimap.
Oh.
One heaven, one heaven.
Sight. Nice, last one sight.
Yeah, so the only issue I really have is that I feel like you continue to back up, and you back up, you know, while your teammates are pushing forward. And so, like I said in the earlier round, is we really want to try to stick with buddy system. This goes for everybody, not just the Sage. We really want to stick to that buddy system and play together. Because your position right now, like your Reyna is, you can see your Reyna is about like right about to start an engagement with the Brim. Oh god. And yeah, so right about to engage, but you're not necessarily there to do anything off of it. Yeah, so engaging, and instead of like backing up to peek, you kind of back up to look at your Reyna and reload. And so, you know, you guys want it, but the problem I see is that we allowed for the Brim to have a chance. The Brim had a chance in a 1v1 rather than forcing him into a 2v1, right? So, overall, you guys won, but I'm just trying to call out some of your guys' mistakes so that way you guys can be pretty, you know, unbeatable.
Yeah. Are we not buying up here?
Yeah. Oh, we have to buy. We want.
They're gonna be pushing rope. They're gonna like half buy at most.
They might
Their
just
brim is
full
broke.
save.
Their brim is broken. Yeah, they might.
Yeah, they're gonna pull save here.
Watch some weird push. I
We
probably
should try.
shouldn't
Yeah.
but whatever.
Yeah, so Sage, like I was saying, so this is what I'm a little confused on. So your Reyna's in position, you're behind her, you're holding, and then you let go, and then you're there. You know what I mean? So it's just a little bit awkward on timing.
Watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
So like, you know, you're backing up further and further. Your Reyna's out alone. Got your wall up, nice. I personally don't like this wall, but I mean, if the wall works for you guys, great. But I'm actually not a huge fan of that wall. Oh, you guys are killing it.
Heaven, obviously.
Nice, easy.
I checked mid. The Phoenix plays mid.
Wanna grab the orb?
Okay. Walk.
And so, same thing here. You're just a little bit far back from, you know, your, oops, you're a little far back from your entries. And so the problem is, if they get into an engagement right now, you are too far away to really help them. So that's something, you know, for everybody, I want you guys to keep in mind. Brim, I know you're doing something. You're trying to smoke the site for them. You're smoking off ropes, right, to confuse them, so that way they don't know if you guys are going mid. Sova, I'm sure you're probably set up for some dart or something like that. But Sage, for you, we just want to ensure that you can support your duelists, right? That's kind of the idea, is that like you have your duelists, their entries, you know, their plays can be kind of suicidal, but what they're there to do is to like get into engagements first, so that way you can trade them out. But the problem is that if you're not there to trade them out, then your duelists tend to get kind of pissy about it, you know, because it's like duelists feel like they're doing their job, they're getting into that engagement, and so they want help. And so we just want to make sure that you are playing up enough with them in order to help with that engagement. In this situation, it's generally pretty fine because there are two duelists, so they should be backing each other up. But you know, that's still one of the things, you know, that's one of the struggles of being a duelist, is that like sometimes your teammates just don't back you up. And so yeah, so just to keep that in mind moving forward.
I fucked up my arrow. Sorry, guys.
That was so ugly. Oh my god, I should have died. Up top.
There's a turret behind the box.
What am I doing?
Side's clear.
Yeah.
Go side.
Watch out, heaven.
Go side.
Yeah,
Come on,
going side, going side.
Plant that shit.
Yeah. I'll wall mid. Right.
One ropes.
Don't peek. We got the wall. We got everything.
I've got your trail. You should run.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Fuck.
Oh, I clicked it.
Last player standing.
Oh my god, that was so bad.
Phoenix kill.
Oh.
Nice
Nice
try.
try.
Almost, dude. That was a good good attempt at like a hero play right there. You guys were set up for this, like for this post plant. You know, it was a 4v3.
I clicked it.
But yeah, you know, once your teammates fell, it was a good time to go for a hero play. So I think you did well there.
Everyone can buy? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. Let's, I want to try A again, but probably not this round. Flashes through it, which is fine.
I'm gonna eyeball.
And I'll let you peek it.
No,
and
no,
then
it's fine, it's
okay.
fine. Let me go first. He's lit something. Here, give me a heal, doggy.
For you.
Hey, dude.
She's lit as fuck, I guarantee it.
Oh, there was one bottom.
Nice. One side, one side, one side. Back side now.
Fuck.
Where?
Phoenix heaven. Phoenix heaven.
Planting.
He's still heaven,
His
he's still
body's
heaven.
stairs. His body's stairs.
I'll heal you.
Watch,
Will.
watch, watch lower, watch lower. I'm gonna peek out heaven.
1 second.
Stock.
5 seconds. 5 seconds.
Actually, I'm lying. I got lower, I got lower. You guys, watch heaven.
For you.
But don't let him peek you from lower. Might save, but I doubt it. Yeah, I guess he's gonna save. I'm gonna start making my way off once it gets speeds up.
Ah, he was in.
We'll have the other one.
That's where it goes.
I got my ult, so we got 3 ults.
I'm lagging. Need a second.
Yeah, just fall back.
I'm Ben still.
Dogging. Dogging B.
Oh, we're gonna pop smokes B. Let's go A.
They know I'm A, but it's fine.
What do you guys want to do?
Let's take mid.
No! Oh, why did I turn? Go B, go B, go B, go B.
Yep, let's go B. Shit.
Truth is, I think your best play here would have honestly been to. I mean, I know it's like kind of in hindsight, but I think your best play, honestly, because you guys have shown presence on B this whole time, and Jet was only a lurker on A. I feel like on the other team, right? We want to look at it from the other team's perspective. From their perspective, Jet, you were the lurkers. So the moment they killed you, they kind of knew it wasn't A, or they suspect that it's not A, because you guys have shown presence from market, from sewers, because of the Roomba, and you know, like they can hear that you're shooting from both sides. And then Sova was darted B main. So this whole time, you guys had shown presence on B. And then you guys showed presence on A, but you showed presence on A as a lurker. It was a solo Jet, and that was it. At this point, I think I would have probably wanted to bombard that Killjoy, go through ropes and bombard her, because based off of the information we got from Jet, Killjoy was alone on that site. And so just something we want to kind of take into consideration really is that the read, the read, honestly, in my opinion, was to go A, because I'm gonna suspect that there's probably 4 on B, maybe 3, but I'm suspecting that there's actually 4 on B at this point. But the call out was to go B, which I think was the wrong. I think it was the wrong play.
Let me eyeball out.
Watch heaven, watch heaven.
So Sage, same thing. I think you're just a little bit too far back from your Sova to help.
One heaven. One spawn.
So you got 2 here. Okay, so there was 3 here. So you had like 2 heaven, and then you had 1 on site.
He's dead. One more heaven, one CT.
They're both here.
Peek left, peek left.
So same thing, right? It's like your Sova is in this engagement, so it was a 2v1 against a Sova, and Sage, you weren't really there to help. In this situation, Sova, you probably didn't need to peek this. But the issue isn't that you peaked, but maybe it's the fact that both of you guys just weren't really playing together on this case. And so yeah, we just want to make sure we both play together in these situations, because it's it turned a 2v2 into a 2v1, and then now they get another 2v1, right? And then if Sage can successfully get a res off, then, you know, it's like, hey, we reset it to 2v2, but it's just we're just a little bit late, you know? It's not until Sova dies that you start looking for a body.
Flip a 70.
Oh no.
And then now you're stuck main, which is pretty predictable, right? Like, main is a pretty predictable spot, and it's not really planted for you. In this situation, I definitely would try to wrap around pillar and cause as much pressure as you can to prevent them from diffusing. Oh, but, okay, they make a mistake. Oh my god, Sage. You win because they're terrible. Holy crap.
Suck. I don't know. That's tough. Kill him. I only hit him for 88.
I'm not-
Her shit.
We gotta keep pushing mid a little bit, or pressuring it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not there.
I'm mid to A, and I'll creep out A right at the start here.
Okay, I'm gonna smoke the left side then. Ready?
Oh shit.
I got flash.
Oh, he's not there.
No, he's by me. He's by E. He's A. He's A. Didn't expect that.
Okay, I like this play, mid to A.
They were set up in ropes at least. Someone go like A main. Nice. We go.
Oh, nice. Fuck.
For you.
Thanks.
Cutting their vision.
Shit. I'm coming with you.
Yo, he's spawn or whatever. Screens?
One
Sight
screen.
now? Sight now? Sight now?
Return to dust.
I think sight. I think
Another
sight.
one
I'm
there,
not
same
sure.
I hear spawn. I hear spawn.
Maybe he's there.
It worries me that you guys didn't check this. Like, I know it's not a likely position to play, but definitely check that, because, you know, like, somebody could be there, and then literally your 5v3 match could turn into a 3v3, you know, and your Sova's in male, so it's on site. You have, you know, one maybe hell or rafter, and then one heaven. And so if you guys get shit on by somebody chilling in that corner, like, you know, you guys end up throwing this round.
Okay. I'm planting in the open. Good job.
Enemy remaining.
Nice.
No.
Easy wins. It looks like this is an easy game for you guys.
She went to either CT.
Oh, come on.
That was
anyway.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was good.
that's why, like, yeah, no, I mean, like, it was a little greedy, of course, but, I mean, I didn't die, but...
Good job. What do you want to
Should be
do?
able to drop down to
Sure,
sight.
KJ backside. KJ in the back. Went for the revenge.
Should be able to plant. Never mind. Screens.
Oh
two
my
screens.
god! Fuck! 35. Fuck, I choked again. I bet.
You should run.
It's okay.
You can safely fall off and plan. Or sorry, in res.
Fuck.
Yo, Seb, left.
Player standing.
Well, both screens.
Oh, fuck. 117.
Bummer. Yeah, so 5v4 situation. It's a 5v3 and we lose it. We definitely need to be playing together. So our Brim is pushing screens, right? And you guys are sandwiching this, Jet and Brim. But I think your guys' timing was just off. Yeah, the timing was off. Like, we didn't... I feel like you guys could kind of 3-2-1 that, you know, especially if you know that they're sandwiched there. And or simply don't peek, because we ended up losing a 5v3 because of it.
Oh my god! Fuck! 35. Yo, Seb, left.
Player standing.
Well, both screens.
Hey, if one of us dies...
Are we good?
Jet, I like your I like the tone of urgency that you give your teammates. You know, like when they need to immediately look left, that you give them that tone of urgency so that way they know. So that is a good characteristic, I think, for an IGL.
Res him right away. Don't hesitate.
The problem is the line of sight, man. If I'm nervous with the line of sight, I don't want to bait one of you guys, but
Nah, you're good. I don't care if I die. Just make sure you avenge me.
yeah. Oh, she knows we're here. Very dangerous.
Top.
Good job.
Side clear, side clear.
I'm planting.
No, I think there's one more.
Oh,
So rough call out there. Wow, how did we miss that?
good job.
Okay, so it's never checked. So Sova, right, as the intel guy, you need to be extra hyper aware about where people can be, right? So like, not only are you calling out you should be calling out what's clear, but you should be calling out what isn't clear and where you have spotted people. And so your drone, you kind of like did a switchback thing where you kind of looked back at Rafter,
Very dangerous.
Top.
and then you called for sight being clear before it really was, right? So I think just moving forward, we need to remember you need to remember and know what hasn't been cleared, right? And so I think that we kind of refer to this as like default, right? And then we consider this like backside, and so like we need to make sure that we either clear it or we remind our teammates that it hasn't been cleared yet, because I feel like that call out, it was no offense, but it was just wrong, right? Like your Sage runs to default to try to plant early, but that this entire back corner like was never cleared, right? Like the drone, you never faced that direction, so you never actually knew. And so just remember that for your teammates, right? Like because you're a Sova, you get to play a safer position, and so it is kind of up to you with the role you're playing. It is kind of up to you to support your teammates, even if you're not physically there with your gun out next to them. Like that we just want to be really deliberate about what we say and what we call out, just so that way stuff like that doesn't happen.
Good job.
Side clear, side clear.
I'm planting.
No, I think there's one more.
Oh,
What was good, Jet, that you were able to trade that out, so that was good.
Up top. Saw one heaven.
And so your Brim and your Reyna are just shitting on everybody, so that's good. The only thing, Sova, is that I'm unsure what you're doing, like, still in main. Like, you have Spike, you're droning,
I'm planting.
No, I think there's one
your
more.
Sage gets shit on, you're just there for the trade, and then you're just spraying the wall, and then you're kind of just sitting in main while your Brim is fighting and your Reyna's fighting,
Saw one
and you're still main.
One enemy remaining.
And so, obviously, like, your teammates, like, everybody on this team is talented, so it's like you don't always have to be there, but truth is, like, maybe this team is easy, but you guys will face other teams that might be better.
High ping.
And so we just want to make sure that like I've been saying, play with your teammates, play the buddy system, make sure you're always there, and never let your teammates fight alone if they don't have to.
It's harder on offense to pre-fire because you can't just listen to footsteps. On defense, it
Alright,
should be easier.
same idea. Same idea.
Killjoy's there. Killjoy's there.
Do we want to?
And for future reference, when you are calling something out, moving forward, it is really important to call out the location rather than just there or here. Like there's one here, there's one there, Killjoy here, Killjoy there. Just because like your mid players here. Like, so while your Brim and your Sova might be aware, your Reyna and your Jet, they, in order to know what you're talking about, honestly, like, they kind of have to look at the minimap to know, like, what you're facing, like, to know, like, what you're referring to. And the problem with that is that your Reyna and your Jet have taken a pretty aggressive push here in mid, and so, like, they can't really be looking at their minimap. They have important crap to look at. You know, like somebody could push them out through mail, or somebody could pop out screens. And so, yeah, so just, you know, you want to be really deliberate about locations, because that way the rest of your team have a very clear understanding of what the map looks like, you know, like where people are at and stuff like that.
There's one in here, 100%. I just heard him running.
And so here, Sage, you're playing aggressive, going for that first pick, you know, like for that first engagement, but then you back up all the way and you let your Sova pushes in alone, right?
Watch out.
And then you're just a little far back, like a little far back to help.
Watch it, but obviously if he flashes, I can't.
Careful, guys. Careful. Let me drone. Let me drone. Oh, Killjoy shit. Killjoy shit on the ground.
In heaven.
I had to
Killjoy
drop.
shit on the ground.
Nice kill.
Where is it?
I'm with you, Jerry. Eyeball. Let's go. No, I missed the flick.
Behind the metal box.
Behind the box. Behind metal box site.
Okay, so we want to time this push here, right? Your team has gained control of heaven. You guys should be out by this time, but you guys both like take a second to reload. So I feel like the timing's just off, because like your Jet and your Reyna are already in a fight. So at this point, instead of you guys clearing that turret, you guys are still main. But the problem is that your Killjoy's here, your Skye is here, and so your Jet and your Reyna are engaging into a fight, right? You guys should, in order for this to be perfect, you guys should be out here at this point, right? We want to try to time these pushes in order so that we're pushing together at the same time. And so we just want to try to make sure that that you guys are all playing together. Like the three of you guys are playing together, right? But the problem is that like your Jet and your Reyna are kind of doing their own thing here, right? And then you guys are not keeping up, like up to speed with them. And so we just want to make sure that we can do that, because the problem is that Reyna was fighting the turret and then got shot by the Skye, and then your Jet was kind of fighting the Killjoy, or like fighting. So the Jet was there to trade for the Reyna, but the problem was the Killjoy there was to trade, right? So, yeah, so that's just kind of the issue here, right? Is that like your Jet and your Reyna were in an engagement, and you guys were not like ready to push out.
Oh, I missed the flick.
Behind the metal box.
Behind the box. Behind metal box site. Definitely site somewhere. Nice
Nice.
kill. Yo, res someone?
Heaven.
Heaven.
Bye bye.
Drop. Nice.
Nice.
About 90. That's alright. Try and hold
Totally
like
peeking that
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna pop.
Guys are coming, A.
Hey, pro rotate.
Oh, fuck.
Smoked out.
Now I'm gonna pop. Actually, try and at least get a pick.
They're coming. Jerry, fall back.
There.
I just got smoked out.
Guys are coming, A.
Hey, pro rotate.
So it should be obvious, right, Sage, because your Reyna fell onto site, that they could be up ramp. But I do think, Reyna, it is your job to remind your Sage or to your other players that the opponents have heaven, right? Or like they could be in heaven, or they could be up ramp. So I think just right, just for teamwork and communications, we want to definitely remind our teammates, like, not just where you know they're at, but where they could be at, right? Like you have to let them know, like, oh, they could have gone up ramp, especially if you heard it, right? If you hear that they go up ramp, like, you know, should hear that. Next to that, Sage, I do think we could be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit faster here. I think, right, like going slow is what got you, what made you get caught off guard, right? But we don't want for you to be caught off guard. We want the opponents to be caught off guard. So it was tough because of you were swung by 2 and you know you're still on the rope. But this call out just isn't for you. Like I want to see about your Sova.
They're coming. Jerry, fall back.
Your team calls.
I just got smoked out.
Your Sova's running.
Guys are coming, A.
Hey, pro rotate.
Oh, fuck.
heaven?
Yeah, so Sova, I think that
Yeah,
you
Heaven.
I think you
Smoke.
took a little bit too much time to
Elbow? Oh my god!
Wow, you guys win that. Holy crap. So I think so you took a little bit too much time. So there was a moment where you stopped actually. So instead of full swinging to trade the sage,
Oh fuck.
you end up tucking the corner. You know, so you end up tucking the corner, which I think delays you, which is what it allowed for the opponents to get ready for your push. You know what I mean? Like they weren't you stopping like that, I think, gave them too much time to be prepared for somebody to actually be there, you know. But I think if you were able to just wide swing it instantly rather than tucking that corner, I think would have netted you that kill on that raise.
Oh, Killjoy smoke. Bottom. Elbow. Elbow.
Fuck.
Oh my god!
Were you going for the fucking?
No, I swear I had no.
Yeah, this looks like an easy game for you guys. Yeah, overall, it looks like you guys are playing good. The only thing I'm really just trying to point out for you guys is mistakes, right? Like things like whiffs happen, right? All pros whiff, you know, that's like a total normal thing. You know, I'm not gonna tell you guys that like you guys just gotta aim better because you know, I mean, we all gotta aim better. But what I do want to call out for you guys are things like mistakes, right? Like things that could have cost you the round or things that could have cost you the round, things that did cost you the round. In that case, the thing is your opponents just made a crap ton of mistakes, right? Like they lost that 5v2 push into A, so they just made so many mistakes in that because your Sage died on the rotate and your Sova died on the rotate, right? And so, you know, by the time Brim got there, Brim was able to catch somebody, I think, in heaven. And so you guys won that because they made so many mistakes, right? But the problem is that soon you guys are going to be up against teams that make way less mistakes, you know? And in that case, what you guys need to do is make sure that you guys make as little mistakes as possible to ensure that every fight you take is like as advantageous as possible.
Fresh. Didn't get the push.
I'm rotating.
I'm personally not a huge fan of this wall only because they could congregate on the outside of the wall. You know, like they could like just hide in here. And if they know how to do it, they can actually jump up onto this box and then like pretty silently. If they know how to do it. So they could jump up onto that box without you really knowing about it and you could get flanked. So something to just keep in mind is that this wall, while it might work against this team, almost any other higher skilled team, this wall might not work and it might not do anything for you. It might be a waste, honestly. You might actually need it for retakes instead. You know, so imagine if you had this wall, right, and then maybe your B players rotated through mid to like make sure that nobody is pushing up mid. You could have walled maybe heaven because it looks like your Reyna's about to retreat into heaven, and so you could probably wall yourself out of ropes, right, to ensure that you guys maintain heaven control during this because your Jet looks like she's playing rafters or hell, and so Jet's position is kind of a one and done position, right? But your Jet is holding basically first contact onto site, and so when Reyna's retreating over here into heaven, you could actually wall this off to ensure that you guys maintain control of this because on the previous round, even though you guys won, you guys did lose a lot of lives. You know, you guys lost 2 people in heaven because you guys weren't able to maintain control of that. Because on the previous round, same thing. Your Reyna was playing ramps, but your Reyna has a playstyle where she actually gives up heaven and she plays rafters or hell, or I think on the previous round she actually dropped and landed sight like towards elbow, but just to adapt and know how your Reyna or your teammates play. Yeah, your Reyna's style is that if they are over aggressing this, she actually doesn't really fight it, but she actually gives up heaven and she plays sight instead. And so that's something to kind of keep in mind is that if we keep wasting the wall mid, that we won't have it to maintain control of this site or to retake this site. And so just something to kind of keep in mind going into the future. And then also another wall you can do, which I like to do, is kind of guide the team into an area. And so like maybe you guys like stack 3, and if you hear that they're mid, you actually wall B heaven in order to try to coerce them into ropes, right? And then depending on what agents you have set up, usually this works well with like a Killjoy setting up for that. But you can set up maybe the Sova or the Brim instead of the 2 duelists over here. But like once they drop into ropes, you can hit them with like a shock dart or a Brim molly or something, right? Like, but it kind of coerces them and traps them into a position. And so just in the future, you know, this is the idea of like theory crafting and stuff, but you could use your wall to coerce them to actually go into ropes on purpose where you guys expect them, instead of just walling it and then kind of wasting it early because they can just break it or just wait it out, because they can just wait your wall out and then they'll still have like a minute or maybe 45 seconds to like think and do stuff. And so that's kind of why I don't like walling that spot, and I don't really like walling it too early.
Stupid spot.
They're sitting. Like, A main.
Okay, I will
Still
go
rotate.
back to mid.
Here, let me know when you want me to peek out top.
I think this is head level. Oh,
Yeah, they
oh,
went
they're
over.
yeah, oh yeah. I got Killjoy a little bit.
Do we?
I'm gonna stay A. I'll anchor A.
Yeah, anchor, yeah.
They're taking my wall down.
No charges left.
Good job.
Spike down mid.
Alright, there's no one here. These guys are fucking just running around.
Okay.
No, their bomb's gone.
Oh, ropes! What? He was ropes!
Reloading.
He went up A.
No one here. These guys are fucking just running around.
Okay.
No, their bomb's gone.
Oh, ropes! What?
Okay, how did he get into ropes? Let's see what went wrong here.
Stay A. I'll anchor A.
Yeah, anchor, yeah.
They're taking my wall
No
down.
charges left.
Okay, so I think the problem here is that Jet, you are holding, so you're anchoring A, but the problem is that you're periodically losing vision of A. Actually, you're kind of jiggling, but you kind of lose complete vision, and you can tell by your vision cones. You're like completely letting go of this cross, right? And the cross is going to be the most important because if you lose vision of the cross, the Phoenix can time you, which happened, and the Phoenix was able to, for free, make his way, you know, into flank and presumably kill what looked like 2 of you guys. And so these are the little mistakes I'm talking about, right? This little mistake caused for 2 of your teammates to die and turned a 5v3 situation into a 3v3 situation.
There's no one here. These guys are fucking just running around.
Sorry, not 3v3, but it's a 5v2 situation that suddenly became winnable.
Oh, ropes! What? He was ropes!
Reloading.
He went up A. He went up A heaven. Other one's ropes. Phoenix.
Okay, I guess not that winnable, but still, right? Like, it could have been catastrophic.
Seconds left.
Nice.
Yeah, sounds good. Jerry, let's try this a little aggressive.
Yeah, eyeball. I'll
Okay, so Jet, I like that you are taking the initiative and getting pretty crazy. Not crazy, getting pretty creative with like sometimes like you guys are pretty passive, right? Like you go in for early information, then you guys like back up all the way onto site, and so I like that. And then I also like that you guys decide like, hey, let's just get aggressive. The only thing I would say is that on this bonus round, Reyna, I think if you guys are going to play aggressive, Reyna, I think you drop onto site with your Jet and you guys push up close. Just because you're playing Spectre. Like, the problem I see with this situation is that with a Spectre from up here, whatever you do is a little bit baity on your Jet because you don't have a great weapon to trade your Jet out. Doesn't mean it can't work. This other team seems like they make a lot of mistakes, and I'm sure they whiff a lot. But because this should be their buy round and your guys' bonus round, I just worry that that the position you're holding is too far away from your jet to really be super helpful. But I'll let you guys play it out, see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good. Just want to see what they'll do.
I hear B.
I hear B side.
They're not here, Jerry. You can rotate.
Oh, oh,
They're mid,
oh.
they're mid.
Yeah, and so the only issue I see with this is that we lost the wall early, and I feel like this would have been a great opportunity to wall B heaven and then try to coerce them into pushing into ropes, right, where your Reyna can be ready for it.
Yeah.
Oh shit! What just happened?
Sounds good. Okay, these guys are.
Smoke, fuck.
Hey.
Heal.
Oh,
little
I'm
bit-
offended. My wall.
I'm in
I'm slowing
sewers.
down.
I'm gonna go for the rat kill. Jerry, you don't have to peek.
No,
I'll
yeah,
get
I'm
him
not.
this time.
I'm not. I'm low. I'm gonna come around for a heal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't see anything B anymore, but
Got one.
For you.
cute. I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna fall back. There's more of them.
I'm going back.
Oh,
Oh, through
no,
the
yeah.
smoke. Through the smoke. Fuck. They're still pinned, but they could go B.
So one's garage, one's mid.
I'm pushing up on B. Here.
I'm gonna go through spawn.
Mid.
Dogging mid. They're dogging ropes.
Think you're gonna go
Shit.
ropes?
Yeah, probably. I should rotate back to A. There's no one. There's no one in their spawn.
Oh, might be B. I hear bird. Smoking B.
I'm watching A sewers entrance.
Watching
30
heaven. B
seconds
heaven.
left.
Round the clock.
They're B. A. Oh no! Shit! I thought he was sewers.
Okay, so I'm a little confused. I heard a lot of callouts for B, and then they ended up actually being A.
They're B. A.
Who's calling this out?
I hear bird.
And so one thing I notice is Reyna, we've completely given up A heaven, and you're playing this position here, which I think that like you peek this. If there's nothing there, start taking some space, right? Like get control of this, because the problem with giving that up completely is that they still have a lot of time left. And so if you can gain control of this, because I'm assuming your jet's like somewhere in their spawn, I think. And so you need to gain control of this area here. And then Sova, we have a dart. You sent it into B heaven, but I think that you should have sent it more into male or maybe out into mid, in order to get a better read. I feel like one issue here is that like this is your guys' bonus, and it looks like the other team has full weapons. I don't think we should play too far back. I think that you guys should gain space and hold tighter corners.
Yeah, that's
Wide
fair.
peek.
Dude, I don't know why it keeps resetting.
Good job.
I'm watching A sewers entrance.
Watching
30
heaven. B
seconds
heaven.
left.
Round the
Yeah,
clock.
so Sova says they're pushing B heaven. But yeah, it's just, it just seems like the wrong call. I'm not sure why we thought that.
I thought he was sewers. My bad.
Yeah, and so Reyna, I think your position, the problem is your position, you ended up getting swung on unexpectedly. Maybe, I'm not sure why, because it looks like you're holding it.
They're B. A. Oh no! Shit!
Yeah, so right, little mistake. Reyna, you for less than half a second you decide to go screens, but then you decide to turn back. And the moment you turn back, the sky ends up coming out of ropes, probably coming out of ropes, because Sova wasn't able to maintain control of mid, and so Sky was able to go for mid into ropes, and then Sky ended up being like way closer to you than you expected, and it just happened because you let go of an angle, right? Like you were about to push screens, and then you turned away, and then you went straight back into heaven, and then Sky ended up being way closer to you than you expected. And so, right, little mistakes, right? It's like I'm not sure what triggered you into wanting to go screens, but I think we just kind of full commit there. You know, it's either just, hey, if you're gonna give up heaven, go screens and tell your teammates you're giving up heaven. Like they could be in heaven, you don't know. But yeah, I just think that in that situation, we little mistake there, right? Like we let go just for a split second, and you know, of course, they end up being there, right? So the timing was just a little rough.
She dropped on the site.
Yeah.
Stop the plant.
Oh, heaven, heaven.
Player
fuck.
standing. 10 seconds left.
Is he outside?
Planted.
Yeah, there's
top
one to your
to the
close right,
One to
close
your
right,
right.
close right.
One to your right as well.
Oh my god, the
No,
raise
get
is
outta here.
terrible. How did the raise screw that up?
Brim kill me. I thought I
Oh, okay.
All right.
got one. And
Well, 10-5. Looks like easy game for you guys.
I hear B.
That might have been my
Yeah.
footstep.
No. They keep trying to bait. Yep.
One aiming.
They're coming. They're taking my wall down.
So they're split. They're split.
let's get A main. Let's get A main.
She probably just threw a bird, but she's like,
Okay, they
far.
stopped on my wall. They're just being assholes. Oh yeah, I heard the bomb drop at B.
Yo, Sova, go back. Go B. Go B. I'm helping mid.
It could be a fake. Oh, flash
Nah,
mid.
Yeah, don't over rotate.
Jet, I do think your call out was fine, but Sova does have a frenzy for some reason, and some of you guys, it looks like you guys have full guns, so I'm not sure why your guys' money is so scattered, but one thing we want to keep track of is our economy, and we want to buy and save with our teammates. And so like if Sova, so if your teammates are buying, right, they have full weapons and they have like $0 left over, you also need to force up and buy and have $0 left over, you know, like, because if your team can't buy next round but you can, then you end up you're at a big disadvantage for that next round, and so it's kind of a waste for you to spend that money, right? And so you having a frenzy makes your team weaker than theirs firepower wise, and same thing happens. Like it'll be a never ending cycle if you don't buy and save with your teammates, you know? So basically the idea is that instead of having multiple rounds where you guys are at a firepower disadvantage, you guys kind of sacrifice a round by saving. That way the next round you guys are not at a disadvantage. But when you guys have scattered buys like this where some people full buy and some people don't, then what happens is that you end up in multiple rounds of having a disadvantage firepower wise. And so because of this specific situation where your Sova is in male with a frenzy, I probably wouldn't move him. I think that's probably a pretty decent one and done situation with a frenzy. And then I don't think it's such a bad idea that three of you guys are playing mid like this. The only thing is, Reyna, you need to be watching this cross for your Jet, so that way your Jet doesn't get flanked. And then Brim is playing a good position here because he's playing a pretty passive, like untradeable kind of location. Like he can kind of just jiggle this and get the information if they're pushing through main, and if they are, he can just like back up into CT or something, or he could try to play his life around pillar. But yeah, so just little things to keep track of, right? The idea is we're theory crafting, and is like, hey, like Jet, Reyna, you guys push A main aggressively, but if they're not there, what happens next, right? Is one of you going to anchor? If it is, who's it going to be? And if you do have an anchor, you need for that anchor to never lose vision of this cross, because that is what's gonna change everything, right? Because the moment we lose vision of that, your Jet gets flanked, right? And then if your Jet gets flanked and dies, then the entire mid team kind of has this idea that A is completely free, and so they'll either go sewers or they'll rush through ropes, which puts you at a disadvantage, Reyna. And the moment that happens, right? The moment they know they have control of A heaven, that puts a threat on your Sova, your Sage, and your Brim, because if they have to retake that site, they're just gonna have a lot tougher time, because not only do they have to retake A, but they also have to retake heaven, you know. But truth is, you actually don't need to. If you guys all went screens instead, you could just smoke off heaven and let the person in heaven just chill, and then you guys just clear out sight. And then the moment sight's clear, then you focus on heaven. But we'll worry about that another time.
No, we're good. We're
I hear
good.
B.
As long as
Middle,
Jerry's
middle.
A, you're fine. They're smoking me. Yo, can you dart it in like 2 seconds so I can see him? Dart now.
Not yet. I don't have a dart yet.
I don't see any B yet, but
So the only position, or not the only position, the only problem I have is asking for this dart is that Sova is playing a one and done position, and your Sage is holding that cross for you, Jet. So the arrow is not super necessary unless we're gonna get really aggressive, but we don't need to because our job here is to run down this clock. We just don't want them to plant. Right, and so I don't think the dart is necessary. I think that you guys are playing a one and done situation. If they push mid, Jet, you will get that information from your Sage, and your Sova is playing a suicide spot here. So Sova's probably good for one, as long as he doesn't peek and he makes them peek him. You know, he's good for one. Jet, you'll get the information from Sage for when you need to push out, because the dart's going to make you push out early, but we don't need to push out early. Because the problem is, if you die, right, if you end up dying because you peaked 2 or 3 people, then you end up in at a deficit, right? Like if you die, then it's a 4v5, right? And so that's just like little decision making things that might be a disadvantage for your teammates. And so, because the problem with that is that if he darts and he tags somebody, Jet, you'll probably swing, but you might get swung on multiple, and then at the same time, your Sova gives up his position, which is a one and done position, which is not so necessary. And now he's peeking, right? And so now he's been spotted or possibly spotted. When that male position is, they actually can't see you in male if you tuck that corner. They have to physically like 50-50 swing you. And so it's a great spot to be. It's just that it is a one and done, so you don't want to give up that position. And the dart sadly does cause that to. The dart would give up your position, and because of how you guys are holding this with your Sage here, your Sage will get the information. Like the moment they cross this line, your Sage will know, right? And so that'll make your Sova aware, and then Jet, it'll also make you aware of when you need to swing. But it's okay. Regardless, we just
There's a couple mid.
I'll let you guys play it out, see how it goes. Get one pick, right? So that's great because now the opponents are aware of your Sage being heaven. Sova, this is where your mistake is. You have a frenzy and you end up swinging on possibly 2 people. Or you swing on one because the other one's hiding behind that box. So you swing on one. I really don't think you swing. I think you let them push out here, right? Like you let them push out because they don't know that you're there. Their only concern is the Sage. But the problem is now that you've exposed yourself, they could just molly that. They could, they can fish you out pretty easily now that they know you're there. And so what was a possibility for you to get a kill, like a one and done, just get a kill and die, turns into slightly disadvantaged. And luckily you somehow make it out, but then you guys get flanked. How do you guys get flanked so many times? Holy shit. How do you guys get flanked there?
How did he get there? Could be a fake. Oh,
What are you guys doing?
Dart now.
not yet.
Bomb drop at B.
Okay.
Yo, Sova, go back. Go B. Go B. I'm helping mid.
Okay, so
Could be a fake. Oh,
problem I see here, Reyna, you go the slow way.
We're good.
I hear B.
So you go the slow way. You go all the way around to screens. I think that you should just drop so that way you never actually lose sightline of that, because this has happened twice now. That you guys have gotten flanked in. You guys have gotten flanked at times where like you really should have. It shouldn't have been possible, but you guys got flanked.
As long as Jerry's A, you're fine. They're smoking me.
So Reyna, it looks like you're holding the cross, so that's good.
2 seconds so I can see him.
So the only
They're smoking me. Yo, can you dart it?
I'm wondering
2
if
seconds so I can see him. Dude, dart now.
Not yet. I don't have a
didn't
dart
s-
yet.
I don't see any B yet, but they're close to it.
There's a couple mid. I hear them running.
Mid.
yeah, I'm gonna say that because of how long it took for the Rays to get there.
Oh, what? How did he get?
Yeah, because it took the Rays so long to get there, I'm gonna say, Reyna, when you guys let go of A main and you ended up going around, I'm gonna guess that the Rays maybe slow walked his way all the way over. Because it took so long for him to get there. The only other possibility is Brim. There was a couple times you let go of B main and you were just kind of peeking. You were kind of peeking like an angle that was kind of like this, right? So like you would know if they're pushing out this way, but you wouldn't actually know if the Rays actually walked up that way. So there is a possibility that happened. I just think it's unlikely because if the Rays came around this way, I feel like the Rays would just kill you. The Rays would kill you, and then he would just chuck a nade into heaven because both Sage and Sova have given up their position in heaven. But yeah, so it's possible that he wrapped around through B main. But I think the most likely situation, because the only time we truly gave up vision was we let go of the A cross just temporarily, right? And so I think that like at the start of this round, Reyna, were you playing ramps?
2 seconds.
You usually play ramps.
A main.
Yeah. No.
Okay, let's see, where are you? Okay, so you're playing like rafters or ramp. So you're kind of playing rafters, you're kind of playing ramps, but you're just like kind of floating in heaven.
No. They keep trying to bait. Yep.
One A main.
They're coming. They're taking my wall down.
And then yeah, we let go of that. We end up letting go of that position, which
Let's get A main. Let's get A main.
She probably
okay,
should've
so
fired.
it looks like you guys both push out A main.
Walls are just being assholes.
Yeah, so you guys both look at A main, but then you turn away and then you turn back. And then you let go of it completely. And the Rays could have gone ropes, but your Rays decided to flank all the way around, it looks like. And so
Go B. Go B.
right, so this has happened twice in this game now. So we just want to make sure that, we are not only holding positions for the moment, but we're also kind of thinking about possibilities, right? And so we ended up letting go of this cross, which probably wasn't necessary. I think like you could have stayed in heaven and you could have stayed watching that tight angle at the cross, but because you decided to reposition, I think that the Rays must have been able to walk through that, because I feel like that's the only other possible explanation for how he got there and for why it took so long for him to get there.
How did he get from? Yeah.
How the fuck did he get there?
Right, and so letting go of that cross caused for our 5v whatever, our 5v5 or 5v4 situation to turn into a 3v4.
30 seconds left.
Heaven still. Fuck you.
We're coming.
Scared.
So we're coming lower.
Nah, I'm dead.
Feeling sight.
2 on site at least.
Spike planted.
I think one's still heaven.
Good job.
One enemy remaining.
Other one's still heaven?
Yep.
Last player standing.
He dropped.
Oh, that stupid fucking classic, man.
Nice try.
Yeah, nice shot.
Oh, I should have just dashed.
How the fuck did the Rays get behind us?
I think when Jerry said there was one A and we never found him, that guy just fucking walked sight.
Yeah, I think
That's the only thing I can think of. That's the only thing I can think of.
He walked all the way.
Do we want to save this round?
Yes. Make
Full
sure you
save?
can buy next,
Full save?
but just buy next. Buy next.
Okay, you can buy
Buy-
next.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think we do the
have.
buy next save.
Yeah.
Alright, fuck this.
They're gonna. There they are. There's one at B.
So, just one thing I'm noticing, right? Sage, like this is your only wall setup for split. I just think it's kind of a waste, you know. Maybe in this elo, it's not so much, right? This other team, they really do seem to get stopped by this. But moving forward, you might face other teams where this wall doesn't do anything at all.
Oh shit, 52. She's in a weird spot. That was my bad. I
There's
missed.
at least 3 mid.
I'm gonna stay with you. Will is lurking.
Yeah, someone's with me at B actually. I'm about to die. Or not.
Here, I'll keep taking mid.
And so another situation here, right? So, Sage, you let go of mid, which means that they could time you and they could go ropes, which would then screw over your Reyna. Because your Sova is not really watching it, right? Your Sova is playing, because of the save, you guys are kind of playing a one and done kind of setup here in heaven. Because, you know, he's just holding a really tight corner, and same with your Brim. Your Brim's kind of playing the smoke, just because, like, you guys know you're on pistols, so, like, you guys are just hoping to get a couple kills. And so the problem is you letting go of this to look at B main, which your Brim has locked down, right? Like they can't come through without your Brim making contact. You letting go of that does cause for it is risky, right? Because they could walk up mid and they could go ropes on your Reyna, and you know we end up into another situation, right, where it's like we get flanked when we feel like we shouldn't have been able to.
Here, I'll keep taking.
And because you left Sage, your Sova left, and now your Sova's looking at B main, but your Sova doesn't really need to because, you know, your Brim didn't make contact yet. But now that your Brim did make contact, he's able to get a kill, but he gets traded out.
I hear a lot of
And Sova, you don't need to peek. Yeah.
She's the 52.
I wish I hit that.
Well, time to throw.
Nah, or not. You can right click a couple.
Oh, come on! Come on! I hit him!
God.
I was aiming.
Oh, it's okay. We're gonna be fine.
I should-
Wall, where are you going?
I hear mid. B.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're going. They're
Yeah, full
pushing.
B.
You should run.
I'm rotating.
Sage, you should really be slowing that. Yeah, you definitely want to slow that.
Getting out. Okay.
They're on
Site.
site.
That was the worst. My bad.
Fuck!
Spike down.
74 on Killjoy.
Oh,
She's
let them plant. I
outside.
have my ult. Let them plant. Let them plant. Just hang way back.
I think he dropped a bomb.
Let them plant.
Scanning ahead. There they are.
Last
Nice.
player
Oh, close right, close right.
Backside.
One enemy remaining.
No!
Oh my God, Simba, nice.
Holy
Let's
shit.
go!
The freaking mistakes on them. So look, I want you guys to pay attention to this, right? Like they were in a 2v1, right? And they just let you 1v1 each of them, right? Like if they both just swung at the same time, like the likeliness of you getting that like is super low, right? But they just took turns 1v1ing you, and like both of them missed everything. They whiffed everything. So that was good on you. I liked your timing. It was a good time to get aggressive there.
That's fine, it's
Okay.
fine.
No.
1A, main.
Wall it so I can help A.
It's just one. It's just one.
Just one.
He
Just
fell
one.
back. Fell back. Two.
Yeah, you got this shit.
One push up heaven. Pushed up. He's on
Nothing B,
ramp.
nothing B.
He's ramp side.
I'm not gonna rotate just yet. Oh,
I think they fell back.
Back. Yeah. Raise.
I'm
Oh,
falling
oh,
back.
shit.
I'm going back to
I
mid.
hear mid.
Mid.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm mid.
Yeah.
I missed. I'm falling back.
Yeah, so Sage, you look back at B main a lot. In this situation, just trust your Brim. Your Brim has not called for B main, so I don't think you need to really be checking it. I know your Jet is mid, but you shouldn't let go just because your Jet arrives, right? Like your Jet arrived to help you, not to take over. And so we don't want to be letting go of angles that we don't need to be letting go of.
Run the clock down.
Two mid. Killjoy
I'm out
mid.
of there. I'm out of there. I'm out of there. I'm fucked. I'm gonna.
And so Sage, so
I'm
you're
running over to.
so Sage, so now that you've let go of mid, the problem is that you shouldn't let go of it. Let your Jet rotate all the way around to you, but you shouldn't let go of that because they could push up ropes. You know, it's the same thing. Little mistakes where we're letting go of vision, which can cause us to get flanked and get us screwed over.
It looks like I'm safe. I'm running over to Seb in the back to get healed.
Healing you. 30
Yo,
seconds
Cupcake,
left.
go heaven.
Yeah, yeah, we're going together.
And so what worries me about this Molly is I'm worried that they pushed through ropes on that.
Hang back. 15 seconds.
I don't hear anything.
They're coming top. They're coming.
Mid?
Alright,
Is that mid to B?
They're trying it.
10
Yeah,
seconds
they're
left.
trying it. They're trying it. I think they're trying mid to somewhere. I'm falling back.
I think they're saving.
Yeah, I think they're saving. They're fucked.
They're safe.
They're no time. Don't push. We're broke as shit.
Yeah, 18.
Nice guys. That's good.
Hey, I'm up there.
Can I find there? Tubes.
Oh. They're pushing something.
That's mid. I think that's mid.
Oh,
I
they
think
got
I hit one,
68,
but I gotta
68.
fall back. I gotta fall back. I'll stay.
Oh,
Oh. Phoenix and Sky. Phoenix and Sky mid. Dogging me.
Enemy spotted B. Reloading.
Staying A for now.
I don't think Sky has heal.
Spotted B.
So Sova, one issue I see is that a lot of times I feel like your darts don't clear enough. I think like you used a dart to clear just this little elbow, but we should be trying to use that dart to clear like the entirety of heaven.
Staying A for now.
Because I saw you do this in B Heaven before, where like you were kind of in elbow, and then you use your dart for B Heaven, right? But you're so close that honestly, you could have cleared that just with your body, and then you could have used your dart maybe deeper into mid, because that's where the threat was, right? Like you knew the threat was mid at that point. So we just want to try to be more resourceful. Truth is, there's a reason why a lot of pro players don't play Sova on this map, and it's just because everything is really tight and there's a lot of like boxes and pillars and a lot of that stuff going on. It makes the dart, the Sova dart, even harder to use. But yeah, in a situation like this, like especially like when we've lost B Heaven, you definitely want to try to get that dart just a little bit deeper in, because you don't really need the dart to clear this close elbow. What you need is for it to clear heaven.
I don't think Sky has heal.
Oh my fucking god.
Rotating.
Oh, fuck.
On heaven.
They're coming A.
Sky was B heaven.
They're coming A.
Last game. They're going A.
They were.
Nope.
30 seconds
No,
left.
B. They're going.
Last player standing.
Fuck.
If you die, I'm
As soon as I get a kill wall.
okay.
Brutal. My bad.
Someone else has got to go mid, I think.
And so I definitely would have tried to wall and run forward to try to get that res off. Yeah, instead of running back. Because one thing is, right, like they know you always play B Heaven, right? So they know where you're at. They know exactly where you're at. You never really play on the wall. You've only done it a couple times. But they kind of just know that you're not gonna be like you're not changing up your position at all. You know, you guys are playing kind of the same positions as usual. But yeah, Sage, I feel like your positioning maybe is a little bit predictable at this point. You know, they always know you're going to be B heaven. At this point, I think it would have been smarter to like wall and run forward, because looking at where they shot this, like they shot this part of the wall first. So because of that, like it looks like you could have gotten a free res.
Yo, I was gonna say, can you? But too late.
And then we used 2 slows on the same exact spot. Remember, the slows don't stack, so there's kind of no point.
Was someone else speaking?
I think I heard sewers. Oh shit, I'm lagging. I hear sewers.
I could see that.
I want to do a risky play. No, I'm not gonna do a risky.
Mid.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. I know what you're thinking. I think they're trying to throw us off with sound cues. Just hold.
And so one thing I worry about here is that Sova has let go of the A cross, and then Reyna, you are letting go of ropes. So we're kind of giving up heaven at this point, which I think is it's just a little bit risky, right? Reyna, like your position is only single purpose at this point. If they end up going B heaven, you are too far away to do anything, right? But if you were to continue to play ropes, like if they go B heaven, you can rotate into ropes faster, and if they ended up being A, then you guys have maintained control of A heaven, right? So we want to be kind of dual purpose with our setup, and the idea here is that is this theory crafting thing, like what if this, what if that, you know, and so we want to make sure whatever position we're holding kind of has like a secondary plan along with it. And or you can have a singular plan if you can coerce them into going a certain way. But yeah, the problem I see here is that like Sova's watching the ropes exit, has let go of A main, and then you've decided to rotate off in to watch A main. But if they end up going B heaven, right? Like your Brim is in a one and done position. You know, the Brim is focused on B main. That's been his job. But since Sage let go of B heaven, if they end up going B heaven, your Brim might be kind of screwed. Because now your Brim has to watch 2 things, and then Sage, you're not watching anything, and then Reyna, you had let go of ropes, right? And so now if they push ropes, your Sova has to fight it alone. That's kind of the issue that I see here, is that if they do push ropes and Sova dies, you are not in a position to trade him out. If you stayed here, then the Sova would have been in a position to trade you out. But at the way this is set up right now, nobody can trade each other out. Your Sage can't. Your Sage might be able to trade out your Brim, but your Sage would be better off at least holding a cross with your Brim. Either that or never letting go of this B main or this B heaven control. So that way, you know, that way you guys don't lose that, and then that way your Brim doesn't have to watch 2 things. But Reyna, your positioning here into ropes, you've done it several times now. Not ropes, sorry. Over from ropes to vents. Not vents. What is this called? Screens? There you go. Yeah, so several times you've went from ropes to screens, and during that, there's been a couple mistakes. It looks like a couple times you may have been timed, you know, or one time, right? So one time you were timed, and then another time, because of this you have this impulse to go screens. There's a moment where Sky did push out of ropes, and then you like were gonna go screens, and then you turned back, and you know, and then the Sky ended up being like really close to you, which you weren't expecting. And so the problem I just have with your guys' positioning is that your Brim is in a one and done. Which is fine, right? Like if that's what you're doing, that's what you're doing. So he's kind of in a one and done position. Your Sova is holding ropes, you know, he's like holding ropes, and if they push up ramp, like, you know, like they may spot the Sova, they may not. But Reyna, you letting go of what was a strong position, Sova could have been more focused on main. You could have been watching ropes. If you die, the Sova is there to get that trade. But without the setup, nobody really can trade each other out. Sage maybe can trade out your Brim, but Reyna, you guys were in a position to trade each other, but now you guys aren't. And so that repositioning, I think, wasn't too necessary. So they ended up going B heaven, right? And now you're too far away to really help.
They're coming B, it looks like.
And so this caused your Brim to have to move locations. So now he's sitting default. Reyna, you're going a little slow to clear B heaven. Right, and so there's like multiple here. Now you swing.
Hold up, wait for me, wait for me.
Yeah, wait, Brim's lit.
Revealing area.
Spike planted.
Deploying drone.
Oh yeah.
Killjoy right below.
Enemy
Jerry,
remaining.
below you, below.
Going to site, default.
Out of charges.
He's on bomb area.
Last player standing.
Oh,
Oh.
Fuck.
oh, that was scary. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one. Sova, what are you doing? You're panicking, bro. Oh, you're panicking. Okay, so Sova, Reyna, I think this is where we're having a little bit of a struggle. Reyna, this is a good peek on your part to get that Brim. It was a 2v1. It was a 2v1. Your Reyna's on site, and then
He's on bomb area.
and then Sova, it looks like you're playing with your mini map at this point, right? You really should have just dropped.
Default.
Yeah, you really should have just dropped at this point.
Out of charges.
But right now you opened up your map. You're trying to tap things on your map so that way you can ult. And then this awkward thing happens. Yeah, it's a little rough.
I'm not playing across.
We need to mid for sure.
Feel
Yeah.
free to push off.
Okay, we gotta seal this deal.
You know
I
what?
hear B.
Yeah, I'm coming top mid with you. I'm not playing across.
We need to mid for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna play with Sage here.
I'm not gonna peek that.
Yo, watch your ropes.
Wait, is there somebody at A?
Raises A heaven. Raises A heaven.
Okay, they have our A heaven. I'm coming over.
2 A heaven.
We haven't.
That's fine. Jerry, let's hold crossfire on it.
I got the left. I have a
I heard
marshal.
the ropes back to
Oh.
mid.
It's full A.
Fuck. The timing. I just turned away. Yeah, they're A.
Spike planted.
Oh, she's. Oh.
Full A.
Fuck. The timing. I just
Okay, so the one thing I worry here, Reyna, is that this game is all about timing, right? So
2 A heaven.
you gave up A heaven, and that's fine. You let your teammates know, you weren't able to hold A heaven. It looks like you guys are kind of on a save or a force round, right? And so two swing you, so it's okay that you give it up, right? And so because you gave up A heaven, you decided to go for control of screens, right? That's perfect scenario for this.
Crossfire on it.
Perfect scenario of this. And so you guys decided to hold a cross for the
The ropes
heaven
back to
exit.
mid.
Full A.
The timing. I just turned away.
And so Reyna, so you have full control of screens. You have a full control of screens, and then you give it up, right? Now you give it up. And so now we have given the opponents time to try to gain control of screens. And so we gave up screens when we didn't really need to. We had a good position on it. And now what's happened is that your Sage was playing on the other site, so it takes her longer to get there than for you to already be there. Because you let go of it and you decided to go A heaven instead, so because you let go of it, we got timed, right? And so, I'm not trying to pick on anyone specifically. It's just, this is a pattern I'm noticing is that you tend to reposition to screens, but you also tend to re-choose what you're doing, you know? Like you kind of change your objective. So it's like you had this idea that you would gain control of screens so that way they can't take screens from you guys. But because you let go of it, your Sage had to take over and there was somebody in screens, right? And so that is something that I want you to really pay attention to and just like really start getting a grasp of like what it means to have like map control and how important it is that you never you don't let go, you know, of certain angles and certain choke points and control of certain areas. The thing is like screen control is super important for gaining for doing a retake, right? Your Brim is trying to flank through sewers, so he's pretty far behind, right? Like you guys still need like 15 seconds or maybe 10 seconds, right, for Brim to even be in a position. But we've lost control of screens at this point, and we lose a member in the process.
Oh.
Last player
Alright, good try, guys.
Causing
thinking
chaos.
this.
I hear B.
Flash in B.
Quite a bit of them.
Flash B. 3 flash B.
All right, Sage, you got to slow it. You got to slow it. Slow it, please. There we go.
Nade. Tons nade.
I'm pushed off.
Yeah, I'm pushed off too. Pushing back on.
Nice, you're getting back control. Your Jet is on a huge flank right now, and your Jet has control. Silva, I'm unsure. I mean, hey, you got to pick. So, Silva, I feel like if you can, you want to try to gain control of screens, or not screens, ropes, so that way you can at least hold this angle, so that way if they end up going B heaven on your Sage is aware. And then you what you do is you hold a tight enough angle that if they end up pushing you instead, you can drop down into ropes, right? And so you kind of have a backup plan. But the problem is, it's the view angle that you're holding, like you're just holding ropes. It's too one-sided and it's not dual purpose, right? And I've mentioned this before, is whatever you guys are doing, I want it to be dual purpose, so that way like you're kind of doing two jobs at once. And so that way like not only can you watch ropes, but you can also be watching B heaven for your Sage, because your Brim has smoked it off kind of. I feel like it's a little bit weird, but I guess it does work, because I assume your opponents are kind of scared of it. But yeah, so we just kind of want to think about that, how we can be even more dual purpose with our setups.
Oh my god.
Yo, Silva, you can rotate.
You have to be mid, right?
Placement.
I think so. I'm gonna be watching ropes. From A site, like in a weird ass way.
30 seconds left.
They could still be mid. They could still be ropes.
Yep, just
Yeah, I'm watching ropes from where
15
I am.
seconds when you win, just hang way back.
They gotta do something. They're coming A. A.
One enemy remaining.
Good job, boys.
Oh, I fucked it up, but it didn't matter. Good job. P game.
Good game. GG.
Nice, guys. Good one. Yeah. I think that it was a lot closer than it should have been, and I don't think it's because that the other team was better than you, or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not because like they were doing better. It's just that you guys made some mistakes here and there that allowed for them to capitalize on some of your guys' mistakes. You know, overall it looked like, you know, you guys won, definitely. It's just that I think it was a lot closer of a game than it should have been. You know what I mean? But that's basically it. You know, a couple points I want to mention to you guys is that I want you guys to think about. I want you guys to focus on playing the buddy system and really kind of understanding dual purpose positions, right? Hold angles that are dual purpose, play in positions that are dual purpose, and also theory craft these ideas, right? Playing screens is good if they go screens, or I mean if they go A, but the problem is that if you were in a great position already to begin with, like in ropes, we don't want to give that up because giving up a heaven is pretty risky. But yeah, so just think about how you can play better with your teammates and to have a better dual purpose position. Sweet. Thanks, guys.